Fire in the hole. Let's talk about the caps for a minute. Now, you might ask, why do a cap kit if things seem fine? Or, well, how bad can caps really be if the monitor's working? To a certain extent, I agree with that. But when you are in repairing, I am always a big proponent of find root cause, fix it, prove it out. And cap kits, reflows, all that kind of stuff is maintenance after the fact, just to sure up and tidy up things. Now, I thought I would take some of the caps we took out of San Juan number 2 here and just take a look at them with capacitance checker. How about our little bit larger power supply caps, the 100 mic capacitors? See what they check out. That one's at 86.86, and it's got a low ESR of, I'm going to have to prop this up just a little more so we both can see it. Less than an ohm, 0.71. So that is within 20%, and it's got a low ESR, not bad, not terrible. Let's take a look at this one. Also 100 mic. 96 with a 0.68 ohm ESR. That one reads better, and those are to be matched caps. I wouldn't say either one of those are terrible condition. What do we got for this one? This is 1000 at 25 volt. So it's a little smaller working voltage, but higher capacitance. 881.18 ESR. Where I'm finding the ESR at is this number right here. Tells you how many ohms of resistance there are to go with the capacitor. Now that one is within 20% spec, but it is on the low end of it. 47 microfarad. What do we got here? 43.8, that's pretty decent. Now the ESR is up a little bit. Yeah, we're sitting at about 3 ohms. It's creeping a little bit. It's kind of settled out there around 3.3. I don't know. I don't get too worried till we get much above 5 ohms. That's kind of a threshold for me. But better caps tend to have lower ESRs. This one's reading out at 183, and it's a 220. So 10% is 22 microfarads, 20% is 44. 44 off of 200 is 186. We're just threshold. We're just barely in the game on that one. That's if I can still do math. But 184 microfarad, low ESR, 0.66 ohms. Now, oftentimes I find these smaller caps, smaller physical bodied caps, and this is a 10 microfarad, tend to have a little higher ESR, but again, my cutoff for feeling fine is around 5. So we got 9.395 at 3.45 ohms of ESR. Again, like this last cap, that's pretty borderline. The two larger fill caps for the power supply, one was pretty decent, one was pretty borderline. 0.47 microfarad on this one. And we've got 0.45 or 453 nanofarads. We're still under 5 ESR. We got about a 3.6 to 3.9. What's this one? 1.1 microfarad, 50 volt. Yeah, 0.93. That's around 5 ohms of ESR. Still acceptable. and its capacitance value was pretty spot on. This one, 4.7, and we got 4.8, 5 ohms ESR. That's not bad at all. Let's try one more. What's this one spec at? 1 microfarad, 250 volts. There we go. Now look at this one. We've got 0.96 microfarad. That sounds great. But look here. Greater than 100 ohms ESR. That's a bad cap. That's way too much ESR resistance for a capacitor. But chassis was working. So how many of these, or how many of just borderline caps, add up? For comparison, let's look at some new ones. These are our extras from the Sanwa kit. We've got a 4.7 mic here. 4.16. See, 5.7 ESR, and that's a brand new Nichicon. Again, around that 5 ohms ain't too bad, but that greater than 100, that definitely outside the scope. Here's another 4.7. It reads 4.16 at 5.74, almost identical to its little buddy. Here's a new 3.3 at 50 volts. 3.72, just under 3 ohms on ESR. So you can see where I'm going with this, that a low ESR is good, but there is some play in there. Like this is a 3.3, reads 3.6. And the smaller the body of the cap, I see a lot higher ESRs. But again, 5 ohms-ish, that's not bad. That's not really going to change your circuit too much. But a greater than 100, that's like putting an extra resistor in there with it. There's another 3.3, reads 3.7, under 3 ohms of ESR. So, need a cap kit? Yeah, I truly believe it did. When was it going to fail? Next week, next month? I don't know, don't have the crystal ball. But you can see we had a couple of borderline caps, and we had one that was pretty far out there. So, even though the chassis was functioning, based on age, this unit was made in 2003, and it's 2026, so 23 years old. And things happen. You get into the Geo7s, the older Wells Gardner stuff. Some of that stuff's 40 years old. Think about an extra 20 years on those caps, if they made it that long. Anyhow, that's just all I want to do, was just kind of go over the caps we pulled out, just a little handful of them, and see what we had. Thank you for joining me at Fro-Dog Arcade Repair. I hope you enjoyed the video, found it useful, or at least entertaining. Please subscribe below, like, follow, and share with your friends. And remember, fire in the hole.